So we're having fun now. I'm going to go ahead for this new one and turn off the original and do a mirror and weld, which for you guys will be under geometry, modify topology, mirror and weld, across the x-axis. So that just basically, you know, he had that unmirrored haircut, so I'm just going to mirror him again. And you can, of course, make some really drastic changes, so we can go ahead and hit X to make sure an X symmetry here. And we'll just use our move brush here to kind of make some changes. You can make really subtle changes, or you can make really sweeping changes here. And we don't have we don't have any resolution. We're just using our Dynamesh here. But if you did have resolution, or you know, reconstruct resolution or anything like that, you could go through and your high-res detail would follow along. Kind of give him a pinched face. You can give him a really strong chin here with a really strong jaw, or you can give him the opposite and give him like no chin. And let's go ahead and get rid of his clothes here. Let's use trim dynamic and kind of trim out his clothes here. And we'll bring his neck back. There we go. And his clavicles and his traps here. Kind of dig this out. There we go. That's probably a little bit harsh. Dynamesh. And then clay brush to build that back up. So let's say no chin, abs, apple. We can go ahead and make his ears really big, so we can do that a couple different ways. We can go in here and scale them up and rotate them around. Let's go ahead and trim those in. Let's go ahead and do a female. So we're going to take this guy here, and this guy's giving me more of like a longshoreman thing. So if we wanted to do like a clay buildup around the neck here, and kind of give him a little turtleneck, well, maybe a little kind of like a little tactical turtleneck thing, and this guy gets big woolen cap, goes around here. And I still don't have my lazy mouse on because, you know, I'm making changes too fast. So there's our longshoreman type. So let's go ahead and do female. So females are similar. I'm going to go ahead. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to duplicate this off. But with this one selected, I'm going to go ahead and move him down. This little bent arrow, move him down to the bottom of my list here. I'm going to take this history, and I'm going to go back. And I'm going to revisit just the basic. Go back as far as I can. We'll just revisit his basic face. Hit OK. It just wants to verify that you want to redo or do 180 undos there. And we're going to do another mirror and weld, which for you will be modify topology mirror and weld under geometry. And I'm just going to do a quick smooth, because if you're going to start with a female, you're going to probably start a little smoother. And we're going to make these features a little less harsh. We're going to change a little bit of her anatomy just at a base level. And we're going to soften her out a little bit. Now this is like you could turn this easily into a school marm type. You know, put a little bun back here and instant, you know, madam or whatever. No, let's leave that. We'll leave it. But we can also add a little bit of youth. So let's go ahead and soften or fill in these cheeks a little bit here. And make that jawline not so prominent, but raise these cheekbones, fill out these cheekbones a little bit more. And make these eyes not so recessed. So we'll go ahead and fill this out. And brows not so heavy for a female here. And forehead's actually pretty good. Bulb that forehead out a little bit. Make that nose a little bit smaller. Smooth that mouth out. So here's more of a basic female shape. So now what we can do is we can start carving in where the female lines are going to go. So the eye's going to go in here. And really when I'm doing just a younger female face, and I guess I suppose even an older female face, I'd start younger and then make her a little bit older. I'm going to do a lot of standard brush and then smoothing, standard brush and then smoothing, as I'm kind of digging in where things need to go. And her nose is here. And then clay brush. And on this one I'm not being quite so forward as I was with the male. I mean, I could be. You still want to be confident in your strokes. But it's not that I'm not confident here, I'm just being a little bit softer, a little softer touch. Let's say this is our female face, and not trying to be too heavy-handed, but just kind of building up. And really, it's just a process of building up, smoothing down, building up, smoothing down, building up, smoothing down, until you get what you're looking for here. And I don't have a ton of resolution on here, so do what you can. But again, we're just kind of blocking stuff in. But you can go ahead and make major changes to her as well. You can use inflate. You can use move. You can do a little bit more of a caricature. Do a little bit of expression here. And again, this isn't a class in anatomy or expressions or anything, but we're just kind of playing around, having a little bit of fun. And you can kind of play around with, if you add a little bit more lines to the face and kind of start digging in, playing around with the anatomy a little bit. What happens if we dig this in? And just like the guy, what if we gave her a strong chin, or gave her a really weak chin? And we can age her up a little bit too. So let's go ahead and let's say, and again, we're hit P for perspective and change the lights and stuff around as you work. So let's say she's kind of a thin kind of caricature girl, and let's go ahead and do a soften her up a little bit. So we'll kind of add a little bit of fat deposits here. And yeah, let's go ahead and just inflate that up a little bit more. So we got the inflate button, and we're just going to inflate out her face a little bit, soften it up. And we can kind of, I mean, if you want to get into kind of masking and inflating, if you want to, you know, a lot around the eyelids and stuff, if you want to go ahead and like mask and then move stuff around, you can certainly do that. And let's go ahead and give her a little bit of little bags in her eyes, age her just a little tad here. So we're kind of softening her up and adding a little bit of age around the women age, around their eyes and their hands and their necks quite a bit. So you can go ahead and start adding that stuff here. And again, once you get to a certain point where you've kind of concepted it out, that's where you want to go in and drop in the spheres in here. I'm going to use Damien's Standard, which is another standard brush. I'm going to kind of cut in a little bit more. Use that to kind of cut in. Just it gives you a stronger line around some of these areas. And if you hold down Alt, it'll actually build up kind of a stronger line as well. And then you can go ahead, and I'm going to raise the resolution just a tiny bit. And if you hit lazy mouse on, then you can start getting these long, smoother curves. I'm actually going to crank the lazy mouse up quite a bit. And we'll get those long, smooth curves in here. Give her kind of a Vulcan eyebrow from the side here. And if you want to make her Vulcan, you can certainly do that. You Star Trek nerds like me out there. It's a little different look. And clay brush, gonna build this area up. There we go. Really, so standard brush to kind of dig it in, clay brush to build it out, and then a little smooth brush. There we go. Now we're talking. And all overboard there. Smooth, smooth, smooth. So let's say we like this one, and you can do this all day long. It's really, really fun to do. Obviously, I could